You're listening to Achtung Millwall, broadcasting from the beautiful South Birmingham. Accept no substitute.
Good afternoon, dear listeners. Welcome to Achtung Grassroots. I've come all the way down the windswept Thames Estuary, down the A13, to Canvey Island, home of Dr. Feelgood, home of Lee Brillo, of Peter Green, founder of Fleetwood Mac, Wilco Johnson, and even, in the football front, Peter Taylor, and our own Millwall player of the 70s, Frankie Saul, all hail from Canvey Island, dear listeners. I've never been here in my life, but I got it into my head to drive down the A13. This is the kind of thing that I do to bring you some Isthmian League North division action between Canvey Island and the Heybridge Swifts. Heybridge, I didn't know where that was. It's out near Malden in Essex, apparently. Canvey Island facing Heybridge Swifts then this afternoon. The ground itself is interesting, quite low level as you might expect for a non-league club at this level. All the way around is this kind of seating called the Jack King stand on one side, two stands on the other. Yellow and blue is the club colours, and then there's one end of fairly substantial terracing, which is where I've decided to stand. I've got a view across the seawall to Kent on the other side of the River Thames on a grey, leaden afternoon in early February. Why do I do these things? Listen, I do it for your entertainment, that's why I do it. Canvey, managed by Brad Wellmen, come into today's fixture, today's Isthmian League North fixture. I think that this is a feeder division into the Isthmian Premier, so I think it's called level 3/4 on the FA's hierarchy. Come into today's fixture in third place. They're actually part of a three-way team shooting it out for the league title and promotion, alongside Aveley leading the table at the moment, then Stowmarket Town, and in third place Canvey Islands, all on the 51-52 points, top three. Today's opponents, Heybridge Swifts, are mid-table side, 10th. Canvey Island also do have the division's leading goal scorer, Kouassi, who scored 19 goals. That's not a bad record for the season. And the third best striker, Price, who scores 16 goals. Now we're just in time to see the arrival of the two teams. Canvey in yellow and blue, as we've said already, like a reverse Boca Juniors style shirt they're wearing. And Heybridge Swifts are all in red this afternoon. I remembered the famous Dr. Feelgood blues kind of album from the 70s called Down by the Jetty, and the band picture was them standing right by the river, which is, as I said earlier on, just over the back of where the ground is located. Windswept picture, and I feel very windswept myself. I could be in that Down by the Jetty album photo with the boys myself right now. It's only a very windy afternoon. I'm hoping that you get a sense of that on this recording, dear listeners. Now, so just running through the two teams, I'm just trying to look up the online programme that Canvey do, in common with a few other clubs. I was looking at it before I came out this afternoon, listeners. Very nice production, actually. It's all online now. They don't actually sell programmes anymore. They do it as a kind of an e-download. There it is, found it. Canvey Island. Numbers 1 to 11, old school here. Bobby Mason, Ken Sampaio, Jay Silva, Salmon, number 4, Michael Finner, and 5, Evangelis Emphochencil, number 6, Odell Martin Serende at 7, Connor Hubble at 8, 17, Matthew Price, maybe not quite 1 to 11, Bradley Sack up front, number 9, and Evans Kouassi was the man that I mentioned earlier on, the league's top scorer. The team's just about to kick off. Canvey will be attacking the river end in the first half. Heybridge going to be coming at us at the terrace end. As ever with these shows, we'll be checking in during the course of the game as things occur to me or after incidents worthy of note or mention. And away we go. Canvey, of course, most notable for the huge gas and oil refinery facilities on the island. Last parts of it are apparently closed down now. Number 6 looks like George Evans for Canvey, just knocked the ball back to the goalkeeper. As a kid, I used to go to All Hallows over on the far side, the caravan site on the other side of the water, and look out to the glittering jewel that is South End after dark, lights flashing like a Las Vegas, whilst we caravanned in a field. And also in the distance was the kind of hellscape of the big oil refinery of Canvey. I knew we are on the attack. This is the 10 at the moment. I'll stay with this. Drinky down the right side. It's gone for a right-sided corner. The flames leaping from a great burner right at the very gates of Hades. Off in the distance. Faint sound of a few ultras, I think. They're Canvey ultras. I'm not going to go down and see them, listeners. But I can hear a drum and the faint air of a song of some nondescript song. Maybe just about. That's non-league for you. Cold wind blowing off the harsh Thames Estuary. Faint bit of rain in the air as well, listeners. I'm standing on a fairly exposed section of terracing. We'll see how it goes this afternoon. Ball in from the right of a free kick. That's headed in just over the bar for Canvey. 6.5 minutes. So far, early impressions, Canvey like to pass the ball round the back in a modern style. Had a shot earlier on, and that was their second opportunity in front of goal so far. I think the distance, the turret of a ship passing by moves just beyond the sea wall as I'm looking down the pitch. The pitch itself is below the sea wall. I think most of Canvey Island itself is below sea level and was near and prone to flooding. The 1953 flooding famously caused the evacuation of large numbers of the population. And there is a strong Dutch connection. A lot of roads around here have Dutch names. And there was a Dutch community on the island from the 1800s when some of the seawalls were built. Modern seawalls were constructed after 1953. And the river is literally just on the other side of the upper end of the ground, over the seawall. There's the water. You can see a ship drifting past. Opening goal for Canvey, left-sided corner, dipped into the 6-yard box, batted down and slammed home from close. It was the 5 scored. Nice goal, 1-0 to Canvey, no more deserved. I've come away from the rather exposed position that I had up on the terracing, just to get out the wind largely. I've come down the other end of the game to be nearer the white hot atmosphere of the goals, the Canvey Island Goals Ultras. 1-0 to Canvey on 21 minutes, about halfway through the first half. No more than they've deserved, in all honesty. It's been pretty much Canvey coming forwards, and the goalkeeper's done well on a couple of occasions to keep Heybridge Swifts in the game. That's a great nickname, Heybridge Swifts. I like that name, that's old school. And Heybridge, as I said, I think earlier on, he's located near Malden, up on the coast of Essex. Another little push forwards here by Canvey. Free kick right in a very dangerous position, just inside the D. I'm going to stay with this. On the edge of the penalty area, inside the D, and fairly central. Let's see what they can do. There we go. Shot from distance. That's gone over the goal into the playing fields, and luckily not into the water behind the end of the stadium. Stays 1-0. I've got to say, that's dedicated ultradom. Their own drum, a range of songs. Hats off to them. Long ball down the left channel for the 7 to chase after. He draws a free kick. Not bad crowd in here, listeners. I mean, the name of the ground is Park Lane. I think the capacity at full stretch is about 4,000. I'm going to take a complete punt and say there's about 400 to 500 in here this afternoon, which is not bad. I know that Canvey are, I think they go top of the table if they pull this off this afternoon, depending on other results. But that's not a bad turnout. One of the Heybridge substitutes has that kind of, was it Jason Lee, was it? Hairstyle? Ball in from the left, that's punched up and away, still in danger area. Heybridge will be able to clear it, I think. So yeah, not a bad little setup. There's a clubhouse I can see over in the far distance, two low stands, a low stand of seats, and 2 covered areas where the ultras are gathered with their drum. Nice ground. It's in a kind of residential area, as I said earlier on, adjoining the river at one end. 36 minutes, a couple of lengthy pauses in play whilst Heybridge redshirted players have tended to. 2 breaks that have been for a couple of minutes. There'll be some added time. Game's slightly gone off the boil a little bit with those 2 pauses, and since the goal, in truth, Canvey still coming forwards, but not quite as much goalmouth action to report on, dear listeners. Heybridge defending over a bandage around his head, so he must have taken one on the head out there, so fair play to him. Ticking down to the last couple of minutes of the added time of the first half. Remains 1-0 at this stage to Canvey on. They've been pretty much the team in the ascendancy through the whole game. As I said earlier on, the half has slightly gone off the boil. The number 11 for Canvey looks a particularly dangerous player in today's showing. I think his name is Kawasa. I think he was the player that I mentioned earlier on as being league leading scorer. We're ticking down to the last few seconds of the first half. Canvey holding a deserved lead. The ultras in full flow, as you can hear. Club were FA Trophy winners in 2001, 2002, and if memory, FA Trophy winners in 2000, 2001, excuse me, and champions of the Isthmian League 2003-04. A period of decent period for Canvey. They actually made it to the 3rd round of the FA Cup in 2001-2. And as you can hear in the background, there's the half-time whistle. 1-0. As you, the man said it. 1-0 to Canvey over Heybridge Sus. During the half-time break, I'm just taking a chance to look at the E programme. I know it makes a lot of economic sense, and I think that the age of the programme is passing, like the great ships of old. But it doesn't look quite the same. It looks like a programme, but it's on your phone. Quite hard to read it. You can expand it, but I'm trying to read it off my phone. Maybe you'll read it more at leisure when you get home, I don't know. And it's a freebie. I mean, it's just given to you on the website, so can't complain at any of it. And it looks... All the elements of a programme are in there, the visitors' notes, the kind of club updates and fixtures and so on and so forth. Everything that you might want from your club programme is in there, but it's on your phone, and you kind of at best scroll through it at speed, so it's not the same as having an actual match day programme. Maybe I'm kind of looking back into the past a little bit too much. You're not going to get that anymore. Can't expect it. And, as an ex-fanzine producer and editor myself, well, those days have gone, sadly. But there it is. So, yeah, nice production, but just not the same thing, is it, as the old paper programmes. General impressions of Canvey Island as a club. A lot of kids, looks like a real family setup here. It's very much one for locals. I mean, I've driven down the A13 to get here this afternoon, listeners, purely because there's no Millwall on this afternoon, so that's why I find myself out. I thought I'd get some fresh air, and I've got plenty of that coming off the Thames Estuary. Where I'm standing now at the kind of river end is actually below some fencing, so you do get a bit of shelter from the wind. It was quite windy up there on the terrace thing at the other end. But yeah, nice little setup. I mean, I can see how people make it a family thing coming over here. The bar looks pretty well used. Food looked all right as I walked past it earlier on. And it's in a residential area. There's a lot of bungalows and low-level buildings around here, and like a public park just over the back of it with swings and a playground. So I can see why people would make a nice afternoon of it. That's non-league football for you. That's the beauty of it, isn't it? It's come and watch the football on the big screen in the bars. They've encouraged people to do. They spend a few quid there, get some food, get a few beers, and then come and watch a proper game in after that. It's nice. I like it. Canvey just coming out for the second half now, and Heybridge are following. Second half, Canvey will be attacking the terraced end. don't really get home ends. I'm actually standing down the other end from the terrace end now for a bit of peace and quiet, get away from the ultras, get away from the kids. Miserable old sod, as my mum would have called me, and so I'm down at the other end. But you know, we'll check in with the game as it proceeds once it kicks off. Just waiting for the referee to blow for the start of the second half. Any moment now, ref. Floodlights start to pierce the grey skies above Park Lane, and away we go, listeners. Canvey still leading at 1-0. Canvey apparently was one of the bigger, along with Southend of course, one of the bigger seaside results back in the pre-foreign package holiday. So from up to the 1950s really, it was seen as a holiday day out seaside destination, and it kind of retained that vibe a little bit into modern times. I do remember it being during the kind of Brit funk era of the 1980s. I mentioned already Dr. Feelgood and that kind of pub rock, post-punk kind of scene. But there was also a Brit funk scene here. Goldmine nightclub was a big name. And I remember DJs like Chris Hill and Froggy, Greg Edwards playing places like this. That's closed. No more. The days of the Funketeers are over, listeners, aren't they? Sad but true. Mentioning the Goldmine has got me thinking back to all the other clubs of the 1980s. I remember 2001 in Erith. Do you remember that one, listeners? 2001 in Erith. There was one in Dartford, Flicks in Dartford. There used to be one in Beckenham. What was that called? I went there. It was right by the station there, and I can't think of the name of that one in Beckenham. Maybe a listener will remind me of it on hearing these names from the past, these disco nights of the past. Ball in from the left side from Canvey. That's taken easy enough by the Heybridge goalkeeper. Comparatively little incident. There's been a couple of chances towards the end of the first half for Canvey. Since the goal, as I said earlier on, the game has gone slightly flatter. If you get a sense if it's going to be any more scoring, it's going to be done by the yellow shirts of Canvey this afternoon, though. It wasn't called Bonaparte's. That was a record shop. Bonaparte's. Oh God, that's going to kill me now. What's the name of the nightclub in Beckenham, listeners? Do tell. That's non-league football for you, listeners. The sub was warming up, getting the pineapple on your head song. So Asim just jumped over the fence near me and took a leak behind me up against the wall because there's no one down here. It's non-league football for you, isn't it? He's coming out of piss up against the wall. I suppose you can't go another week, can you? Here comes Heybridge, one of their rare forays forwards, coming down their right, 49 minutes, coming towards the 50th minute. Haven't seen anything really of Heybridge in the whole half, or the whole game, to be blunt. But they've got the ball over on their right side, but cleared away by yellow. I just thought I'd put that little bit of local colour and the quirky nature of non-league football into your listeners. And he does look like he's got a pineapple on his head for what it's worth. That song did my head in, as listeners to these shows may remember, a bit of personal stuff. I was in hospital last June, and when I was put into the main ward, which I suppose was a good sign because it meant that I probably weren't going to die in there of COVID or something. But there was a bloke in the next bed to me who weren't the full ticket. I don't know if that's going to be like a Jimmy Carr style career-ending comment. He weren't the full ticket, let's just put it that way. And he had that song. He ball in front of goal. It's 2-0 with 7 slams home from a header back from the left side. Acres of space for the 7. He slams it in for 2-0 to Canvey Island. I should think that'll be game, set and match for the goals. But that song was what he had playing on his mobile phone over and over and over again. If I'd hadn't been wired up to a heart machine monitoring my vital life signs, I might have got over and throttled him. Thought I'd share that with you, listeners. 2-0 Canvey. 52 minutes. Evans Kouassi is the player who scored that second goal. That should be the 20th of his season, according to my briefly taken stats before I came out of the house, and looks like it's going to be a decisive goal. But he certainly looked quick and pacey, by far Canvey's most dangerous player going forwards. Shot on goal from distance there. The 7 will pick up the rebound. It's going to go for a right-sided corner on 63 minutes. 2 clubs on Canvey Island. 2 non-league clubs. Concord Rangers, I passed the sign for Concord Rangers on the way in. You kind of split one of 2 ways. Canvey Island are the older club, founded in 1926. Concord more recent, 1967. They're actually playing at a high level. I think they're National League South, whereas, as we've said already, Canvey Island, the senior club, if you like, are playing at a lower level in the Isthmian North feeder league to the Isthmian Premier League, which is where Hornchurch were, we covered earlier on in the season with Harry, of course. If you follow these non-league grassroots shows, which I hope you do, because we're trying to encourage people just to see the beauty of it all. You know, it's kind of, the football quality is clearly not hugely high level, but it's honest, and you're up close. You can change ends. You've got players crunching into tackles in front of you. You can have a beer. And as we said earlier on, people bring their families here, and it belongs to this community, this locality. It's great. I'm really glad that we started to cover these shows, and we'll probably carry on doing them for the remainder of the season and into next season, because I just enjoy it. And it's also nice to see different clubs. I've never been to Canvey Island at all, and certainly never been to Canvey Island Football Club, nor the place itself. So, you know, you just get to see places and clubs, and opens your eyes a little bit to the extent of football in this country. A bit of argy-bargy going over in the far corner. One of the Canvey players is disgruntled. There's a bit of effing and blinding going on. I think the 5 is offering one bloke out after the game. I don't know what got said over there, listeners. It's on the opposite side of where I'm standing. And a little bit of argy. I think there's kids over there. They may have said something to one of the players. Steward over there now. The 5 don't want to leave it alone. He's gone back over. I'm going to have to get some more detail on this, aren't I? Remonstrating over there. Referee's writing it all down. Reports to the local FA, I dare say. Someone must have said something to him. That's all I can think of. The stewards are all volunteers, and we're halfway through the second half here now, so 67 minutes. Whilst there's argy-bargy, there's one steward, orange-coated, wandering around. It wouldn't worry anyone at the den, listeners, let's put it that way. Whatever got said there, I don't know. Some more remonstrating going on amongst the crowd over there. Looks like a few getting slung out over there. I've been asked to leave, and they are leaving. 2 stewards kind of pointing the way out, and they're walking whilst remonstrating back with them. So I don't know what got said there. Real football, listeners, real football. 15 minutes left in the game, listeners. Darkness is falling now. The grey skies are getting to a bit of a darker shade of metallic grey. Just the 4 floodlights here piercing the gloom. One floodlight seems to have a couple of bulbs out, and they'll have to go to B&Q and get some new bulbs. Game is now settled into pretty much a lull, really. Ball, a shot has gone out of the ground, actually. I think it's meant to be a shot. It's more like a wayward cross in many respects. It's gone out of the ground, so they're going to get another football. After a little bit of excitement with the crowd, I think that was a disappointed Malden Heybridge Swift fan over there having something salty to say to the 5 who fancy taking it to the car park outside, and the chap's now left. I don't think he did fancy taking it to the car park. There's been nothing much to report. Been a good game at this level. It's entertainment, you know. It's honest, hard-working performance by Canvey. Clearly the better side by some stretch, and the 2-goal lead doesn't flatter them. So, as I said, 15 to go at this stage. You couldn't probably that long, listeners, could you? Just walk through towards the exit through the ultras, as you can tell. If my voice sounds slightly warbly, it's because I'm back down at the terraced end, slightly up just to see out the game. And it is incredibly cold. The wind is whipping off the river from my starting position, back where I started the reportage of today's contest, and I can report it's not got any more colder in actual fact. It's like polar preet going to the South Pole was single-handed. That ball's going out of the ground there. 4 minutes to go. The goalkeeper's made a decent save shot from the edge of the penalty area. He kind of batted upwards and then got it off the top of the bar. Just looked like it might loop in underneath it. It's given away a right-sided corner for Canvey. Chance to go put the jam on the bread of this afternoon's excellent win, really. In truth, they've never been in trouble. And by some distance across the whole game, the better side. They've played some decent stuff at times, got some decent looking players for this level. The 10 is just about to take the corner. I'll stay with it. 3 minutes to go in the game. Ball's in, looping. That's not a bad ball. He's gone out of play. Goal kick. Last few seconds of regular time tick by as the turret of another ship passes by down there beyond the seawall, listeners. I feel like we've come full circle. It's going to finish almost certainly as a 2-0 win for Canvey Island to certainly, if not put them on top, it's going to keep them very, very close to it, depending on the other results of the other two teams in this Isthmian League North. I'm going to start drifting over towards the exit. A lot of player-crowd interaction going on. Even the Canvey man's having a word over there with someone in the crowd. Number 10 wants it, and the 10 gets pushed over. Yellow card. Goalkeeper wants to have something. Might have a little bit of argy-bargy here, a bit of late entertainment. The ultras want to have their say. There's one or two pushing and shoving. The linesman's getting involved. Goalkeeper wants some. Nothing really, no fisticuffs. Pushing and shoving and words. The 5 wants to have it. He looks like he's mad for it. He's not been happy since someone said something to him earlier on in the game. Yellow card flashed around there. There's nothing, it's his handbags really, listeners. Don't want to overplay this. Lots of glares and pushing and shoving and words. Nothing that would pass muster down the den, let's put it that way. I'm really looking forward to a nice hot cup of tea when I get indoors. It's going to be really up front in the blasting ice of Ice Station Zebra, Ice Station Canvey. I'm rambling. I'm aware I'm rambling. There it is. 2-0 win for Canvey Island, no more than they deserved in the end. Heybridge Swifts didn't show much at all for me across the whole game. And as a tanker drifts past from the refinery, the petroleum refinery, we're going to call it quits from Park Lane. Hope you enjoyed this coverage of Canvey Island 2, Heybridge Swifts 0 from the Isthmian League, dear listeners. We'll be back on another day with another Grassroots show very, very soon. Until then, bye for now.
Achtung, Millwall.